Donald Trump's hosting Saturday Night Live. He will be here tomorrow to give us a preview and answer some questions about politics. Now, some Hispanic Americans not happy about the SNL situation.
Hey, ho, Donald Trump has got to go.
We do not deserve to be attacked by someone like Donald Trump every single time he opens his mouth. I don't know what they were thinking to extend this invitation to him.
And that, of course, will guarantee huge ratings for Saturday Night Live. Joining us from Miami, the purveyor, BernardGoldberg.com, and Mr. Goldberg. So, if you're Trump's campaign manager, and I'm sure he would love to have you, would you advise him to do Saturday Night Live and the late night shows and things like that?
Yeah, I think on balance, it's a bigger plus than a minus. Look, going on these comedy shows, these late night comedy shows, gives a politician an opportunity to portray himself or herself in a different light. Not as a politician, but as a human being. And since the audiences for a lot of these shows, they're not made up of news junkies. A lot of the people watching don't follow politics closely. So if you play your cards right, you could come off as likable, which is important in life in general, but for a politician, it's really important. And if you're going after a certain segment of the audience, let's say the 20-somethings, you don't go on the Sunday morning talk shows, you go on Comedy Central or Saturday Night Live. That's where they are.
So you expand your possibility for votes. But Ben Carson, he sees it a little bit differently. Roll the tape.
Right.
How about being guest host on Saturday Night Live? Does that interest you?
No.
Why not?
Because I think the presidency of the United States is a very serious thing, and I don't even want to begin to put it in the light of comedy.
So does Carson have a point? Yeah,
he's not the first person to say that. When Bill Clinton in 1992 went on the Arsenio Hall show with his shades and his tenor sax, there were people at the time who said the same thing, that it's not presidential. And by the way, before that, Richard Nixon, who was a total stiff, went on Laugh-In, and he couldn't even get the line right. He was supposed to say "sock it to me." After 100 takes, he said "sock it to me." I mean, he couldn't even get the line right. But he came off as someone who was willing to make fun of himself. And I think in an entertainment culture, and we do live in an entertainment culture, while I understand Dr. Carson's position and those who thought Bill Clinton was not acting presidential, you know what? I think it's a net plus.
Yeah, they got to be human beings. But you know what really outrages me and really makes me furious? When pundits go on these programs. Roll the tape.
Yeah, right.
All right, we got to wise these people up. Yeah. All right, so here's the first demand. Stop complaining. You hurt my feelings. Come on. You guys are starting to sound like a bunch of Democrats out there. My last demand. Trump, you got to take it down, man. Got to take it down. About at 6, all right? Now, I know it's fun. But he blew out my TV speakers. If anybody gets to yell that loud on Fox News, it should be me. You know, that guy, he's just he's a publicity hound.
Who's the guy with Jimmy Fallon? Who's that guy with Jimmy Fallon?
Some guy on some cable show.
Okay.
All right?
Listen,
and I mean, the guy is just all over the place. He's an egomaniac.
I have a theory on this. You have fine-tuned a reputation over the years of being yourself. And that's, let's just call it being brash. Let's just use one word. We can use more words, but let's call it brash. But when you go on a show like that, and people have an impression of you, some people like you, some people don't like you, you come off, and you may have to bleep what I'm about to say, you come off as a nice guy.
Oh, jeez.
No, I know. I apologize.
Don't ruin the whole gig here, Goldberg.
I know, that's what I mean. You can bleep that. But people look at that and they say, you know, I thought this guy was the guy who was brash and loud and not nice in some people's minds. But, you know, you come off as sort of like fun and again, a nice guy. And
I know.
I think going on those shows is a plus. I mean, there may be some minuses if somebody blows it, if they do something stupid, you know. But on balance, it's a good thing.
Yeah, if you're successful.
Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Not a good thing necessarily, but it's a plus.
And I go on the shows that once in a while I'll go on a show that I don't really care for, but most of the people that I talk to are people who I have a rapport with. And you're right, it reaches people that won't watch or don't watch cable news and then expands the base a little bit. Bernie Goldberg,
Right.
everybody, there he is.